Hi everyone, I'm Adarsh, and this is your slice of sports with the Mont Moments. Today is Thursday, June 19th. Happy Juneteenth to everyone listening, and this is a special edition of the Mont Moments, specifically covering the NBA Finals. Tonight is Game 6 of the Finals in Indiana, with the Thunder leading the Pacers 3-2, and a chance to complete the series and hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Indiana, with their back against the walls, lost Game 5 on Monday and now have to fight to keep their season alive tonight. Aditya will not be joining me today, so it is just me, and I'm just going to dive right in with reviewing what happened on Monday with Game 5. The Thunder won 120 to 109 at home over the Pacers to take a 3-2 series lead, and they were led by the amazing performance of Jalen Williams, their third-year All-Star, who had 40 points on 14 of 25 shooting, 3 of 5 from three-point range, 9 of 12 from the free throw line in 35 minutes. A dominant performance for the third-year All-Star to lead the way for Oklahoma City. He had 16 in the first half and then exploded in the second half with 24 points on 8 of 13 shooting. Just timely baskets again and again where the Thunder needed them most. He was supported by the league MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who dropped 31 points and 10 assists to go along with 2 steals and 4 blocks in 38 minutes of action. So the two All-Stars for Oklahoma City really carried the day in this victory. A great night shooting the ball across the board for OKC from three-point range. Most notably, Aaron Wiggins off the bench was 4 of 7 from 3. Cason Wallace was 3 of 4 from 3. Lou Dort, 3 of 6. And Oklahoma City had one of their best shooting nights of the series and rode that wave to an 11-point victory. The story of this game for the Pacers was the injury to Tyrese Haliburton. Suffered a strained calf in the first quarter. Ended up getting out 34 minutes in this one, but only ended up with 4 points. Shot 0 of 6 from the field. Did not make a single field goal. Had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, and was a minus 13 in his 34 minutes. Only Obi Toppin had a worse plus minus than Haliburton. Tough night for Tyrese. We'll see what happens with his injury. As of right now, it seems as though he's going to try and play tonight in Game 6. He said that if he can walk, he's going to try and play. And it would be tough to see him not be able to play tonight, but regardless of what happens, he's going to be playing through injury. And above all, you really just hope that he doesn't aggravate the injury, he doesn't make it worse. We know what happened with Kevin Durant in 2019 when he tried to play through a calf injury and ended up hurting his Achilles. Typically in this situation, I would hope that Haliburton errs on the side of caution, but he's a great competitor, and this is the NBA Finals with his teams back against the wall. I expect him to play in this game. But yeah, going back to Game 5, Indiana was really done in by their turnovers. 23 turnovers for Indiana, 6 by Pascal Siakam, 4 by Andrew Nembhard, 3 by Haliburton, 3 by TJ McConnell. But I mean, it was really just the timing of these turnovers, a lot of live ball turnovers, a lot of turnovers in the fourth quarter specifically. They had 8 fourth quarter turnovers when they were trying to make their way back into this game. It's really interesting when you look at the fourth quarter. Indiana shot 10 of 15 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. They were cooking offensively. Apart from the turnovers, those 8 turnovers allowed Oklahoma City to shoot 11 more shots in that quarter. And that's what allowed OKC to keep the Pacers at bay when they were coming back. And with those turnovers and the injury to Haliburton, it was tough for Indiana to get enough offense in this game. Pascal Siakam had 28 points to lead the way. TJ McConnell pitched in 18 big points off the bench in his 22 minutes, and a couple others had some good contributions, but Indiana's been able to keep this series competitive despite inconsistent offense from their star Haliburton. In this series, he's averaging just 15 points per game, shooting 29% from three-point range. He's not the only one struggling, of course. Miles Turner is shooting just 23% from three-point range, averaging 13 points per game. Andrew Nembhard, who I thought was one of the X factors in this series, is averaging 10 points per game, which is 8th on the Pacers, and shooting just 33% from three-point range. They've gotten some good contributions from other guys like Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell. Benedict Matherin's had his moments as well. But in this series, when you know that the other team has a constant offensive presence with Gilgeous-Alexander, who, when they need a bucket, they can more often than not rely on him to give him that bucket. It's tough when you can't rely on your superstar Haliburton to have consistent offensive performances. Um, he's not really an elite scorer, but he's had his moments throughout this playoff run of just dominating offensively. That has not been the case in this series with the swarming defense of Oklahoma City and the fact that Haliburton is clearly playing through multiple injuries. But looking ahead to game six, if Haliburton doesn't play, there's immense pressure on Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard, typically the two starting wings. You would expect more shot creation duties for these two guys in this game. Specifically Nembhard, who likely takes over as the starting point guard, I would expect, although they could also go with TJ McConnell in the starting lineup. As for Nesmith, he's been a consistent three-point shooter throughout this run. He's had great moments offensively. He's mainly their defensive anchor, but they're going to need him to play as much as possible to be a presence against Williams and Gilgeous-Alexander defensively, as well as being more aggressive offensively. Because no matter what, if Haliburton doesn't play, Pascal Siakam is going to draw a huge amount of defensive attention. And Nesmith, outside of Siakam, Nembhard, and maybe Ben Mathurin, he's one of the better shot creators on this team. So huge roles for a lot of these Pacers role players today as they attempt to keep their season alive. For Oklahoma City, really, I mean, I would say you can't really expect Williams and Gilgeous-Alexander to win a game on their own, but with a hobbled or possibly injured and out Tyrese Haliburton, Gilgeous-Alexander and Williams are by far the two best players on the court in this game. And with the depth that Oklahoma City's had throughout the season, starting to shine through in these last couple games, it's a daunting task to see Indiana try to keep their season alive with their backs against the wall. So the guys I'm really looking at for Oklahoma City tonight are Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace, and Alex Caruso. They're three top reserves. We know the starting lineup for Oklahoma City is pretty consistent. They might not shoot the ball great. They don't have many shooters from three-point range on that roster, but Caruso, Wiggins, and Wallace have been guys who, when they play really well, are essentially like starters out there. Caruso specifically is always having a starter-like impact with his defensive presence and his veteran composure. But Wiggins and Wallace can initiate huge momentum shifts with their shooting from the outside and their active hands defensively. Wallace, known as a big-time defender, he had 4 steals in Game 5, as did Caruso. Wiggins is kind of their sixth-man scorer. He went 4 of 7 from 3, and he's had some good moments in this series where he's averaged just 7 points per game, but shooting 53% from three-point range. And he's had 2 big games, Game 2 and Game 5. So if those 3 guys can play at the level that they've been playing in recent games, I really like Oklahoma City to run away with this one. But on the road, in a tough environment in Indiana, the Pacers are going to be very desperate. You know, role players don't play as well away from home, so I wouldn't be surprised to see potentially 1, 2, or maybe all of these guys struggle. Now, in case Haliburton does play, I'll be interested to see how many minutes he's going to be allowed to play. There's always a chance that this injury doesn't really inhibit him that much at all, and he's able to play a regular minutes load. There's also the chance that he comes out, gives it a go, and it's clear from the very start that he can't make the impact that they need him to make if he's going to be out there, and they just shut him down for the rest of the game. But for Indiana, TJ McConnell, Ben Mathurin off the bench have been solid but inconsistent contributors this series. They're going to have a bigger role, as are Nembhard and Nesmith, as I mentioned before. But yeah, I mean, when it boils down to it, with an injured, hobbled Haliburton, it just doesn't feel like this series is going in the direction that Indiana needs it to go. I mean, the momentum is all on OKC's side. Gilgeous-Alexander and Williams are in full flow, while none of the Pacers players are really in that flow right now. Yeah, I mean, if I had to make a guess, tomorrow we're going to be talking about the Thunder and winning the trophy. But if we do go to a game seven, that would also be a very desirable outcome. So yeah, it'll be fun to see what happens tonight in Indiana. I also want to do a little fun game here, which is giving my own Finals MVP ladder. So the five guys who I think are most likely to win Finals MVP 5 games in. So we'll start at number 5. I'm going to go with Alex Caruso for the Thunder. Kind of a bit of a surprise, but he's had a great series, averaging 12 points per game, 3 steals, shooting 42% from three-point range. His swarming defense and his impact offensively as a connector have been huge for OKC all season long, but specifically in this series where his shooting has come along as well. He's played not as many minutes as Lou Dort, but I feel that he's had a bigger impact, especially defensively. Dort is known as more of the defensive stopper, while Caruso generates more impact plays with his turnover, his steals and blocks that take the ball away from the opposition. So Caruso, with his impact, to me is the 5th spot on this Finals MVP ladder. At number 4, I'm going to go with Tyrese Haliburton. Honestly, it's pretty slim pickings for the Pacers players. They've all been really consistently mediocre throughout the series. I mean, one guy will have a big performance and another guy will have a rather dull performance, but Halliburton's been a consistent offensive presence as a facilitator, averaging 7 assists per game. His turnovers have been up in this series, averaging 4 turnovers per game, which is very unlike him. As his shooting has also been pretty poor, shooting just 29% from three-point range and averaging 15 points per game. But, I mean, his impact goes beyond the numbers. He had the game winner in game 1. He's number 4 on this list. At number 3, I'm taking Pascal Siakam, who's been the best scorer by far for Indiana in this series, averaging 21 points per game, shooting 35% from three-point range. He's the only Pacers player averaging 20 points, and he's been their best scorer. His finals experience from his championship run with Toronto has really shined through. He's been the guy that Indiana's gone to in their tough moments when they really need a basket. So his impact has been there. He's been really consistent for this team, and he's going to have a big performance tonight if they keep their season alive. But the top 2 are pretty obvious to me. At number 2, Jalen Williams, fresh off his career performance, averaging 26 points per game in this final series. Shooting numbers are not great, 45% from the field, 32% from 3. But the 40-point game in pretty much a must-win scenario in Game 5. He's had 3 straight really good games after 2 games to start the series. But yeah, I can't realistically put him at number 1 with the way that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's played in this series. 32 points per game. The MVP has been dominant through 5 games. Now, he's had some off performances. Game 3 in particular, when he had just 24 points and 6 turnovers, but 30 points in every one of the other 4 games, including 35 on the road in Game 4 to take the series back to Oklahoma City at 2-2. He had 31 points and 10 assists in Game 5. He's been pretty solid defensively. He's let some guys blow by him, but also made some impact plays at the rim, surprisingly averaging 2 blocks per game as a point guard, almost unheard of. But yeah, if the series ended today, Gilgeous-Alexander would be my finals MVP, and that would cap off accolade-wise, one of the best seasons in recent memory. Gilgeous-Alexander would become the first regular season MVP to win finals MVP since LeBron James in 2012-2013. About, 13 years ago, 12 years ago? So a long time. So when you consider the company that he's in as scoring title, MVP, first team All-NBA, and finals MVP potentially, it's big time. And, people have talked about this being an underwhelming MVP season for Gilgeous-Alexander. A lot of people thought he shouldn't have won it, should have gone to Nikola Jokic, but can't really argue with the accolades. And this will be the 3rd straight season where he's first team All-NBA, All-Star, all these accolades. He's having an immensely impressive run. over the past 3 seasons to turn Oklahoma City into a title contender. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this special edition of Mont Moments. I'll be tuning in to watch Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. Hopefully it'll be a very fun game, regardless of if the series extends to 7 or not. And we'll be back on Sunday with our next episode to review what happens in Game 6, potentially preview a Game 7, and as well include our other segments, including some talk about Kevin Durant and where he could potentially be traded as his trade saga ramps up. We'll also cover our NFL topics. This week will be a dive into the NFC North and their outlook for the 2025 season. And we'll also touch on some recent news across both leagues, including the Desmond Bade trade to Orlando. So I hope you guys have a blessed day today. Enjoy your Juneteenth. Hopefully it's a holiday for most of you. And we'll be back on Sunday to discuss the next wave of sports in the next couple of days. Everybody take care. Have a good one. And we'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you for listening.